What's up, everyone? Welcome to this day in Philly sports history for August 14th, 2023. I'm your host, Jim Montgomery. Not a good end to the Phillies homestand. 3-0 loss last night, or yesterday afternoon, I should say. Not a lot of offense. The ump did kill a couple of the rallies, but it's hard to put that on the umpires. Just missed opportunities. And once again, when they're good, they're knocking runners in. When they're in scoring position, when they're bad, they're leaving them on base like yesterday. And it's tough to be disappointed at this homestand or mad at this homestand. You can be disappointed because they should have easily gone 7-3. But instead, it's 6-4. They have the day off. They go up to Toronto for 2 days, then another day off, and then in Washington this weekend. And then they come home for a big matchup with the Giants, who currently the Phils are 2.5 games up on in the wild card standings. Firmly up 3 games in that the whole wild card at all, but good chance this week to put next 2 weeks really to put some separation and maybe give us a chance where we can actually breathe and kind of enjoy the start of Eagle season without the stress of whether or not the Phils are going to make the playoffs or not. So more on that, but they do get a day off, much needed after that 10-game homestand. If you want more Phils coverage, check out our friends at 2008 Phils. They have the world's largest Phillies email newsletter. Currently, right now, for a limited time, offering a 75% off subscription to This Day in Philly Sports History listeners. Subscription gets you access to all of their posts, all of the archives, the chat, the discussion boards, all of that. You get that 2008 World Series banner shirt. 2008 Phils will follow your Twitter account if you're looking to help grow your brand. Access to giveaways, tickets, autographs, all for $2 a month or $20 for the year. So go check that out. The link is in the description underneath wherever you're listening or watching this. But there's so much good content on there. He puts out maybe 2 to 5 articles, I think, a week, depending on what's going on and whatnot. But I mean, the writing and just the content is good. So check out our friends at 2008 Phils. The link is in the description. Eagles update. Some bad news for Sean Bradley. He's out for the season with I don't know if it was torn or ruptured, or even if the medical people can correct me on this, if that might even be the same thing. But the Achilles injury is going to keep him out now for the entire year. And that definitely is a blow for special teams, who we covered yesterday in our 31 questions for 31 days. But it's also kind of a shot to the linebacking core, too. He didn't really play many snaps per se, but it's a hit to the depth of that. So it's something worth monitoring to see how he does. But disappointing because, again, he was such a good special teams player. To lose that, to me, which is one of the bigger question marks of this team, is definitely is going to hurt. They have some joint practices this week with the Browns leading up to Thursday night's preseason game. I know in the past the players have liked it because it switches it up. You're playing against other people, competition. I'm anxious to see what the reports are out of camp the next 2 days leading up to the Browns game. Okay, we finally have more Sixers updates, and I figured this was going to happen as we're getting into training camp or closer to training camp. Apparently, and somehow you knew this was what the end goal of this was going to be. Harden was upset at Morey for not offering him the max contract. Now, whether or not that's true, I don't know. I have to say, if that is the case, kudos to Daryl Morey, because we said all along we didn't think he was worth the max contract. And I don't know if it was a game of chicken and he called his bluff. But here we are now, and we should have a conclusion to it, I would think, one way or the other, whether we take a step back this season and then Toby and Harden's contracts go off the books for next year. But I figured that was the case, and I just don't see him as a max contract player at the age he is, with the way his production is. So we'll see how this goes as the Harden turns, but that is the latest on that. Union Mania, Messimania is taking over as the Union play Lionel Messi and Inter Miami tomorrow. Philly Goat, they go check them out. They have an awesome selection of Union jerseys. So go check them out. Use this promo code Jim Montgomery for 10% off your order. You want I don't know why you would celebrate this, but if you want to celebrate the Sixers James Harden saga, they have Sixers gear. I keep talking about the Kelly Green Eagles stuff, so go check that out. Back to school shopping is coming. Buy a couple long sleeve tees, buy a couple hoodies, whatever you need to get ready for football season. Want to support the Union? They have Union stuff too. There's some pretty sweet Union jersey type shirts that would love to see you guys buy. Would love to buy one for myself as well. So go check out phillygoat.com. Use the promo code Jim Montgomery. And again, whether it's Union, Phillies, Sixers, Flyers, you name it, they have it. But the Kelly Green Eagles stuff, the Union stuff, top of the line. So go check them out. There's still time to order before the Eagles home opener. You have I think it's 13 days if you want to get something by the home opener. So or the opening game, not the home opener, but you still have time to get your Eagles gear for the start of the season. So go check them out. Okay, today we're going to stick with the Eagles, and this is sort of an interesting, annoying one, more so than anything. But on this day, August 14th, 2001, the preseason game with the Ravens was officially canceled. You might remember that game was originally scheduled for August 13th. It was like a Monday Night Football, and it was postponed due to the large divots around the base cutouts, like literally big holes that kind of fell that you would have fallen through. They had replaced the turf, the AstroTurf at the Vet that year, with Next Turf. They did it before Philly season, so this was the first football game played at the Vet with the new turf, and it just was complete and utter chaos. I vividly remember this game because we were in the game early because it was the first year we had tickets. It was the first year that we all were going down or had season tickets, so we all wanted to go to that first game, check out our seats, and see what was going on. And it just was complete and total, just annoyed, pissed offness because of not being able to see a football game, first of all, but just the way, and it just was and off in the distance, you could see them building Lincoln Financial Field. So we knew help was on the way. But on this day, that game, preseason game against the Ravens, was officially canceled after being postponed the day before due to turf problems at the Vet. Shocking. All right, 31 questions in 31 days. Today, we are going to talk about the biggest question going into this season for the Eagles, and that's defensive coordinator Sean Desai. And I think he's coming into a tough spot. He is coming in with replacing Jonathan Gannon, who the defense last year did take some leaps. He didn't do so hot in the second half of that Super Bowl, stayed, I should say, didn't even leave. Stayed in Arizona to be their head coach, and I do think he's in a tough spot to decide for a couple of reasons. One, he's new, doesn't necessarily have a ton of coordinator experience. He was doing some things with Chicago and I think Seattle, so he has experience in that regard, but not as a coordinator. So he's coming in first time as a coordinator to a team that has Super Bowl aspirations. I think that can't be lost. He's replacing some players, so they're going to have a lot of new guys. And I think, though, that will play into his advantage because a lot of those guys, especially the Georgia guys, have only played 1 year under Gannon, and they didn't really play all that much. And then the new guys coming in, this is their first experience. So I think in that regard, that could play out to his advantage. And then they have the harder schedule, I think, which I feel like if you're a good team, the schedule should not matter. But they could actually be a better defense and put up worse numbers because they're going to be in a lot more closer games, I would imagine. And if you think about last year, there's most of that season, with the exception of a handful of games, which the defense did help keep them in, they had big leads, and they turned that the other team one-dimensional, so you knew they weren't going to run, which I think helped some of the turnovers, and they were able to really get after the quarterback more, not taking away anything from the players for that. But I think the situation of the team last year kind of dictated that. So it is possible for this team or for this defensive unit to be better, but not necessarily have the numbers to sort of show it. So that's something I'm looking for. But I mean, just from what I've seen and read and seeing from the guy, he's a very confident, younger guy, just like Sirianni. So it seems like they have more of the same mentality and mindset. It's worth watching that whole communication thing we talked about the other day. But overall, I mean, I do think this is the biggest question of this team and how this defense is going to perform, knowing that they're replacing a lot of Pro Bowl players, veteran players, that they have a lot of young guys, they have a new coordinator, and they're going to be facing a tougher schedule with more of the top quarterbacks in the league, with Josh Allen, with Patrick Mahomes. I mean, you can throw Danny Dimes in there if you want. I would not, but hey, whatever feels good for you. But they do have Aaron Rodgers, which I personally think that the whole Jets thing is going to be overrated. I think Rodgers is, I don't know, overrated. But that's a whole other story for a whole other day. This is about Sean Desai, and like I said, I think he'll do well, but it is the biggest question of this team going into the season is how is he going to be able to lead this defense, and knowing that he's new players, tougher schedule, and I mean, the guys he's replacing were Pro Bowl players, so it's worth monitoring. I think they're going to be okay. Like I said, I think numbers-wise, they're going to take a step back, and I think it's just a natural thing. I also think the Eagles are probably going to – they're obviously not probably. They're not going to win 14 games. I think they could be an overall better team this year, but have a worse record due to that because they're not catching anybody by surprise. So a lot of it is going to fall on this defense to keep them in games because, like I said, they're going to be close. So can they make the big plays? Doesn't look like Desai is going to be blitzing any more or less than what Gannon did. And I heard a stat the other day. I believe it was on Marks and Reese. But that's okay because the better teams are the ones that don't blitz as much because they have the players to sort of contain everything. So, again, it's worth monitoring. But Sean Desai, what do you guys think? Let me know. Is he up for the challenge? On this day, back in 2001, the Eagles-Ravens preseason game that was postponed was officially canceled due to turf problems at the vet. As the Harden turns, things are heating up there. They're leaving us with the cliffhanger. Phillies get a much-needed day off to rest, reset the bullpen, reset everybody, maybe clear your minds a little bit. Check out our friends at 2008 Phils as well as Philly Goat as we get ready for Messimania tomorrow. This has been This Day in Philly Sports History. Go have yourselves a Monday. I'm Jim Montgomery, and until next time, I'll see you when I see you.